Welcome back to the Mike Check Show. Today we're joined by a true football mind and one of the smoothest voices in the game. Am I right, Charles?
Hey, I'll take that, man. You got
Okay.
to. I need to take you wherever I go, so people will know. Let them know.
A former standout tight end at UCLA, drafted by the New Orleans Saints, and now one of college football's most respected analysts, and that is a fact. Please
Appreciate
welcome
that.
you, Charles Arbuckle. How you
Yeah,
doing, bud?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
That's
Been
good.
doing this a long time, and the good thing is sometimes people don't realize how good you are until you stay around the business for a while. I mean, I know you've been in the music industry, and you know how that is. Sometimes the people that are probably the best don't always get the roses, but people
Right.
know. The real folks know.
I asked Kenny Lofton. Do you know Kenny Lofton?
I don't know him, but I like his music. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I asked him. I said, "Hey,
I mean, you're talking about baseball, Kenny Lofton.
baseball. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking Kenny Loggins, but yeah, I know Kenny Lofton because he played for Dusty Baker, and he was also at Arizona when I was at UCLA.
That's
So
right.
he played basketball, and then he played football. I mean, he played basketball and then transitioned to baseball. He always was a baseball player, but a hell of a basketball player.
I asked him. I said, what advice, right? Well, one and what advice can you give the world?" And he said, "Give people their flowers while they're here."
Yeah, I like that. I do.
So, I want to give you I want to give you your flowers.
Well, I
For
appreciate it,
sure.
man. The thing about it, Mike, you never know who's watching and paying attention. But to me, the reason I know the work that I do is good is because when I finish games, guys that I played with or played against or coaches that have coached me will send a text. A lot of times cats don't reach out to you
Oh yeah.
unless you do something right. you know,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and I might not have heard from them for years, but it's because if you put the work in and you know what you're doing, it shows up whenever you show up.
That's right. Now, the way I like to start off my pod, right? I always start this way. It's pretty unique, actually. I've heard it a lot. Is by asking some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
UCLA or New Orleans food?
Oh, UCLA
Which
food.
one hits better?
Yeah, New Orleans food hits, man.
That's right.
There's something about UCLA, but it can't match up to New Orleans food. I grew up in Texas, and I got a lot of relatives from Louisiana and
What part of
Southeast Texas.
Texas, Charles?
I was born in Beaumont, but I grew up in Houston, Missouri City. So
Nice.
yeah, I have to say New Orleans
That's it.
cuisine.
Toughest defender you ever lined up against?
The toughest guy I've ever seen, consistently lined up against was Bruce Smith. The toughest guy I've ever seen on the field was Reggie White. I've never seen a human that could do the things that Reggie White could. And fortunately, I was in camp with Green Bay for about a week, well, about 3 weeks, and I got to practice against him. Reggie wouldn't really go hard against tight ends in practice, but if you made him mad, he wouldn't cuss at you. He'd pray for you, but he would kick your
Wow.
ass. I mean, I had never seen a human being this strong. Some of the things that he could do, and God blessed him with a lot of tools. Those are the two toughest guys that I can ever remember being around.
And both big fellas, man.
Oh,
Huge,
yeah,
monstrous. Like, listen, I'm only 5'7", Charles, but this is why I never play football.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just so scared of you guys, man. Benching 230, 250. What?
Mike, it's interesting. I heard Bill Bellamy on Carmelo's podcast, I think, and he was talking about going to play with Michael Jordan and a bunch of NBA guys when they were doing Space Jam. And he said, "Yeah, man, I'm out there. I made a couple of shots. I'm feeling good." And then he said, all of a sudden, the level of the game raised. And he said, I sat down and I said, "That's why I do comedy, and I let them cats play ball." So I mean, I respect everybody in whatever industry they're in, but if you've not been, you understand this. But the
Oh
game
yeah.
is so fast, and I look at these young fellas now, and I'm thinking, "Woo, it's even faster than when we played."
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. Now, favorite teammate to joke around with?
Ooh.
Give me a good one, Charles. Come on.
Yeah. Favorite teammate to joke around with?
Because again, all you guys look scary.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, Jeff Harrod in Indianapolis was always one that I
Wow.
liked because he was a linebacker and he talked a whole bunch of trash, but he was a good dude. But when you crossed him in the lines, it was going to, we were going to butt heads. But he was always cracking. And Tony Siragusa was probably the funniest teammate I've ever been around.
He
Goose,
passed away, correct?
yeah, Goose
Oh, rest
passed.
in peace. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but Goose was the life of the party. I mean, any funny story I ever heard from Indianapolis, where I played with him, or when he was at Baltimore, even when he was in college at Pittsburgh, that dude, man, he knew how to play the game at a high level, but he also knew how to have fun. And
Nice.
I miss talking to Goose because whenever you get together with him, it's like you haven't missed a beat, and he's still
Right.
cracking the same crazy ass jokes and just having a good time. And that's how I always remember.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I have two more, right? Best tight end in today's game.
Hmm. I like what Kelsey's doing, but if I say from a standpoint of blocking and receiving, I think Kittle is probably my top guy because of just what he can do and they don't ask Travis to block. Kittle, they do. And I think he's right now, to me, the top guy. There's a bunch of guys that are starting to show well and play, but something about Kittle and how he gets after it in the run game and in the receiving game.
Now, this one is going to get you, Charles.
Okay.
Top five TEs. Let's go.
All time?
All time.
Well, I mean, I got to go with John Mackey because he set the standard for all of us. Kellen Winslow was my favorite growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Um, as I get to some of the younger guys and the guys that played in my era, I don't think people realize how good Keith Jackson was, not only in college but in the NFL. Unfortunately, he played for a team like Philadelphia, where they were defensive heavy, but Keith was really a standout tight end. Antonio Gates was always one of the guys that I always thought was one of the best. And I got to say, Gronk, as I look at some of the guys in this era, Gronk was just a different guy. I mean, the things that he could do and his ability to run, his ability
Yeah.
to block. I would
Where do
say
we
those
leave
for me.
TG?
Who's that?
Tony Gonzalez.
Oh man,
Come on,
you only
Charles.
gave me five. Yeah,
Come on, Charles.
I like Tony a lot. Um, I'll take Keith out and put Tony in, but I'd say I want to keep.
Now,
I'm
that's
partial.
a great top five right there.
Well, you shamed me in the TG because he was really really good. So
Yeah,
okay.
one of the greats for sure. Now, you were part of a some high power offense at
Yeah,
UCLA for sure.
yeah,
What did those teams teach you about leadership and competing at a high level?
yeah. Well, when you have a quarterback like Troy, it makes it where it makes you raise your level of game. The
Yeah,
way he approached the game, you could see why he won three Super Bowls, why he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But I think what it did is it taught you how to really understand where you need to be and how you need to make plays. I mean, I think for us, we were always a team that before we got there, we had some really good years in the 70s. And then in the early 80s, we were good, but we were just on the cusp. We had some really
gotcha.
good talent that came in, and we competed really hard. And I always tell people in my 4 years, there were about 35 guys that ended up in the NFL, some Hall of Famers, some, with short stints. But the one thing we always knew is that you had to compete and play at a high level. And I think that's what it
Yeah,
taught me. Always be ready for your opportunity. And when you get your opportunity, make the most of it.
especially football, right? Because I think football is a short. I don't want to say a short lived career, but it seems that way, right? Look at the guy from the Giants that just got injured, man. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Scatterboo. Camp
Yeah,
Scatterboo. Yeah.
amazing talent, great guy. I mean, I've seen him once or twice, and look what just happened.
Yeah.
Now,
I covered him in college, and I'll say this, man. He was ultra talented. He was at Sacramento State at the time and
right,
then
right,
transferred
right.
over to Arizona State. But you could tell how talented he was. But I agree with you. Our game is you just don't know. I mean, Billy Sims is probably one of the best running backs of all time, but he only had a short career because he couldn't, once he started getting hurt. And it's like that for other positions as well.
Do you see, and this right here might cause some controversy, right? Yeah, maybe my followers will get at me. Do you see some bad intentions as far as players trying to hit another player?
I don't. I don't look at it that way because I played in the era where if you went across the middle, you had Ronnie Lott,
Oh,
Steve
yeah, yeah,
Atwater,
yeah. You're getting
yeah,
clothesline.
yeah. Andre Waters, his nickname was Dirty Waters. I mean, every week, no, look, every week, there's some guys' names you won't even know or you might remember. Henry Jones that played at
Oh yeah,
Buffalo. I still have a scar under my chin because Henry knocked the crap out of me. I held on to the football. But those are the kind of guys that played in that Gene Atkins. I mean, some headhunters. So when I hear now people saying, well, they're headhunting, like that run that your boy had the other night, Jackson Dart.
yeah,
You got to get
yeah.
out. You got to get out of bounds. The guy could have really hurt him worse. Now there are some players that I see that are taking shots that you'll say, hey, look, in any era, that's not good.
This is why I asked you, Charles,
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
see
but
it.
that was not to me a cheap shot.
Okay.
The quarterback like Jackson Dart, who just came off a concussion protocol, when you go to the sideline and you kind of slow down and then speed up, you're taught not make sure he gets out of bounds and knock him out of there. Now, New England can have some questionable things. I understand that, but to me, that was not a questionable hit. No, get
Gotcha.
out of
Okay.
bounds.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I just see it sometimes, right? Me watching the
Yeah,
game, and just from my standpoint, I see some bad intentions, and I'm like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
okay. I mean,
There are some guys even now in this era that you still will say like, I know he's not. I'm gonna have to fight this dude all day.
that's right.
It's not gonna be I hit him once and then we're going at it all day. And there's some guys like that still in this era, yeah. But I also think too.
See, like Ray Lewis made it seem like it was cringy, but it was safe. It was with good intentions. He was just a competitor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't mind you and anybody you play if they hit you hard and they do what they're supposed to do. That's the game of football.
Sport, correct.
It's gonna cross the line, and I think it sometimes does. There's some guys that get real heated, but it's like anything else. Like in boxing, if you lose your cool, you generally tend to get beat. In
Yeah,
MMA, you still have to maintain a level of cool. You can't just go out there and go crazy. And I think the same thing in
that's
football.
right.
You can have bad intentions, but you have to be cold and calculated on how you have those intentions.
Do you think tight ends evolved into like hybrid weapons nowadays?
I think they are weapons. I love the game now. I love the fact that guys can line up, split. They can come back in.
Yeah, yeah,
A young guy like Tyler Warren, who I get to see quite a bit with the Indianapolis Colts, is one of those guys that I see as a future weapon because he still can block, he can catch. I think I always say our position is probably one of the hardest
it
because
is.
we have to know what the offensive line is doing. We got to know the pass protection game. We also have to know the run game. We have to know where the safeties are. We have to know the pass game. Tight ends are usually pretty meticulous and calculated and know the game because we have to see it as our quarterback would see it if he's throwing us the ball. We
Correct.
have to kind of do that. So I think it's a position that has evolved, and I'm glad to see it being more, seeing the evolution even more for these young guys that they can get so many passes and so many opportunities to make plays in these offenses.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm having Jay Novacek on the pod.
Okay.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
You know, he I think I think he has if I'm not mistaken, he has like a partnership or his own alcohol or something like that.
Well, I know Troy has a beer called Eight, and I don't know if Jay's involved with that, but I
Like
know
the
Jay.
number 8.
Yeah, the number eight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and it's sold, and it may have some regional distribution, but a lot of people are starting to get on it. And Troy, I mean, Troy's always done some really good things from the business perspective. I don't know if Jay is involved in that. I don't think he is,
Are we
but Jay,
getting any Charles alcohol?
no, if I did, it would be bourbon. It'd be bourbon or
Oh,
whiskey.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I like cigars. I think a good bourbon or whiskey with a cigar is always good.
Yeah, you look classy. Yeah. Your speed, Charles. I can
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah. Hey, look, smooth operator.
That's it. That's it. With some Sade in the back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know
after,
it.
after football, you seamlessly moved into broadcasting, right? What was the moment you realized breaking down the game on air? What's your next calling?
When I would do it with my family and the people that I watch the games with, because I was looking at the game as I would play it, but then I could start articulating what was going to happen and why it was going to happen.
Ooh,
It wasn't a lot of people get enamored with Tony Romo, and I think Tony does a great job. But I think we all see the game and we're trying to see what teams are doing, not and the why behind what they're doing.
that's
And
right.
when you can explain that to people and you can explain it on air, I think that's what people look for. Because you can watch the game and a million people can watch the game, but what are the little things that are happening in the game that make the difference, or the 5 or 6, 7 plays that can make a difference in a game that people don't always kind of look at? But as a former football player or a guy that's played for a long time, those are the things that generally can turn a game on a dime.
That's good, Charles. I've never
Yeah,
seen it like that. Wow,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
great. As a college football analyst, right? What's the most misunderstood part of the game that fans don't see or appreciate?
Targeting is probably the most misunderstood because it's still such a subjective call. I think that's one of them. And the understanding of how fast the game is. Like I've had people that have said, like, I watched the game, even college or pro, but even college now. And they said, I didn't realize how fast it was until I was on the field to see the speed of what those guys are doing and the level of how quickly they are. And I'll tell you, I mean, my first year in the pros, I thought I had played, really fast football at UCLA against some top competition. And we played some guys in our conference that were really good at the Pac
Yeah.
10 at the time. When I got to the NFL my rookie year, my first game was against the Raiders over in London. The first day of practice, when we put on the pads, I was practicing against Sam Mills, Von Johnson, Ricky Jackson, Pat Swillen. And so the speed of the game, to me, you could just see the difference. Even guys that supposedly aren't fast, they're fast to where they need to
Our
be. And that's
yeah.
what I tell fans all the time. You can sit back and we can talk about it here and you can think, yeah, I can do that. But if you go see the speed of the game and really spend some time around it, I think you'll have a better appreciation for it than sitting in the stands or watching on TV.
It's mostly casuals, Charles, right? That say, "Oh yeah, I can play football. Yeah, I can catch a throw from Troy or from
Yeah.
Patrick or no, you can't.
Hey, look,
A
Brett
bullet
Favre.
from Michael Vick, you're not catching.
I, I've seen some of those guys that can throw, man. And Dan Marino, you'd hear the ball come out. Brett Favre was known to break people's fingers and hands
There you
sometimes.
go.
When he was younger, John Elway was the same way. He was a former baseball player. I mean, when they wanted to dial up their fastball, it's coming at you, and you better be ready.
Cannon, yeah, cannon. A casual can't compete against you or a Reggie White or a Ray Lewis is impossible. I
Yeah,
mean, if yeah, it's just impossible. I hate that there's a lot of misunderstanding, just like with basketball as well. Oh yeah, I
yeah.
can beat a bench person. No, you cannot. They're in the league for a reason.
When I do basketball, I loved basketball growing up, and I played football, basketball, and baseball as a young pup. Loved all of them. But I was in a summer league, and the Bradford Smith, and we had a couple other guys that made it to the league, were on my travel AAU team or a travel summer league team. And I didn't get, I played, but I didn't play as much as I wanted to. But there were a couple of times when I was watching, I'm like, this is why I'm going to play football, because it was a different level of what
Competitiveness.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it wasn't that I couldn't compete, but at 6'3", 6'4", I'm like, okay, I can go over to the football game, and that's perfect for me to play the tight end position. So you kind of got to know what you can and can't do, and be prepared to make that pivot if you have to.
You choose what position to play, Charles, or is that the
But
coach that makes that move?
no, I mean, for me, it was just I was already playing,
Just
and
natural.
I naturally grew up playing the game of basketball, football, baseball. But football, I just transitioned into tight end because I could run, I could catch, I could do all
Right,
those
right.
things. So yeah, it was an easy transition for me in that
Okay.
respect.
Now I
Yeah.
have two more, right? Who were the
Okay.
coaches or mentors that left the heaviest imprint on your journey?
Mm. Man, that's a tough one because I've had so many good ones.
This is why I asked, Charles.
The two in high school that made the most impact on me. I love my high school coach. He was great, John Pierce, but it was Gary Nichols, who was my basketball coach, and then also kind of took me under his wings when I was in middle school. He coached me in middle school football and basketball. And
Yeah.
then Belton Narcisse, another coach that Coach Narcisse was my JV coach. I didn't play varsity football until I was a junior because we were so stacked.
Wow.
We were so stacked. Thurman Thomas was at that high school. I mean, we had guys that were ending up, going to major colleges. So those two guys had the biggest impact on me because they made me realize what I could do or what I could be before I probably even thought I could get there.
Now, I said this earlier. If you had one advice for the world, what would it
Yeah.
be?
Enjoy the journey. Don't look to the destination. When I was younger, always wanted to, where am I going? Where am I going? Really enjoy the journey of life of where it's going to take you. Because it's not going to always take you where you want to go, but it's probably going to take you where you need to go before you realize it. And just
That's right.
enjoy it. Really lean into it. Really embrace it. But really compete every day, I think, is what I look at and I tell people, but enjoy the process of what you do every day because I think that to me is the most important thing about life.
What is next for Charles?
Man, I'm gonna keep doing what I do here, and really want to help young kids understand how to do this profession because at some point I'm not gonna be broadcasting and traveling all over and doing that, and then understand business. When you make your money, how do you keep your money? How do you end up doing other things? So I think that's the critical pieces for me now is to pass that on.
Well, I might need your help because I retired 7 years ago, Charles, and I have some investments, but
Yeah.
I might need to, speak to Charles off camera.
Yeah, well, let's do that for sure. Let's do
I
that for sure.
appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking your some time off to come speak to me and the fans, and we gladly appreciate you.
I really appreciate it, man. Looking forward to it. You have a good one now.
You too, brother. Thank you.